Hi, I'm Minnie Holmes.
I'm Rob Mayo. My name is Evan Demaray, and I tell jokes.
I'm John Casey, and this is A Comic's Life. In this show, we'll dig deep into the lives of working comics, how they live, and what makes them tick. So if you get easily offended, please switch off now. We're about to go deep into another world, into the realm of stand-up comedy.
Unlike a lot of stand-ups, I didn't think I was gonna be a stand-up. I never really watched it. I never really liked it. It wasn't until I took it in high school that I actually did it. I was like improv, modeling, acting, and then in high school I had a class, and I found my voice when I got to do that. I got to stand up in front of my class, and it just got to be me in front of everybody, and I got to talk and find out that I could control the whole group with just me. And there was a kid who hung out from like a previous graduated year who would just hang out in the drama class, who pulled me out of class and made me call into Yuck Yucks during class and to like sign up for an amateur night, and I think that's what started everything. It was scary, but it was really cool.
So I'm here with Evan Demaray, and I'm glad to have you here. And what we're going to do is open up the floor to you to basically go and talk about your life and see how you got into this business, what keeps you in this business, and that's where we're going to go with this.
Yeah, like a Bug's Life, but with comedians.
Well, yeah. That's kind of it. Because, I mean, you kind of went from Zoolander to freaking comedy, right? Because weren't you the pouty lip kid and you were a model at some point?
I was above that. I was on Zellers, and I was the cool-looking kid in the tank top with the surf on it. And
What got you from modeling into stand-up comedy? Probably one of the hardest jobs on the planet. And for you people that have never done it, it's not easy work. It's tough.
I think I've always had that, like a weird certain charm that made people happy.
I was listening recently to a podcast about these apparent weed shows. Was it the fact that they could smoke weed there, or was it the comic that was drawing them there?
Yeah.
And you tell me, you know, as the insider, tell us what it is, what about how it started, and how do you stay away from the evil eye of the law? So it'd be very interesting to hear that, and hopefully it'll draw you out more people, and you know you'll get more stoners out there watching your comic. You make more money. That's what they need: more people coming out to watch their shows.
Well, first off, what I have to say about the weed community is that there are some pioneers that I would put way ahead of me in that world, like Brian O'Gorman, Sarah Donaldson, Rob Mayu, Paul Thompson, Mike Rita are all like big weed comics. Like mostly right now, O'Gorman, Rita, and Paul just almost exclusively do weed rooms.
Okay.
And they're making like actual money from it. Now, the world of pot rooms grew, I think, out of Clandestiny and Hotbox, which are two Toronto weed rooms, and it's grown into a place where there's about 7 or 8 places where you can go and smoke weed and watch comedy.
Now, when you went to Australia, being Canadian, you had the foreign accent. Did that help you in that market?
It helps you pull people in for a little bit, but when you're on stage, you still have to prove yourself.
Okay.
What it does is it gives you that first, I'd say, minute and a half, 2 minutes that celebrities get. So let's say a celebrity goes on stage like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy from TV. Everybody will completely buy into what he says for 2 minutes, and if he's not funny, they'll give up on him.
So what do you do every day when you wake up at the crack of noon? How do you get to the next level in the 4 hours of businesses are open, right? How do you take all that you've done and how do you box it, capitalize it, brand it, and market it to the next guy?
There might be a stereotype of comics just sleep in all day and drink all night, and that's a lot of road dogs, I guess.
Now, explain what road dogs are, because you're talking the vernacular like we know it, but people that are watching might not know it. What's the difference? You call them a road dog.
A road dog would just be somebody who's constantly on the road, just traveling, and then different cities every night, partying. There's very different ways to take comedy. Like you can do the club route, you could do the fringe route, you can just try the YouTube route.
Okay, what would be the difference? I know what they are, but again, people that don't know, what is the routes that you're talking, like the fringe routes? We all know what the YouTube route is, but the fringe routes, what do you mean by that?
To break it down...
Like corporate parties, that kind of thing?
No. So the club route, that you're basically waiting for somebody to tell you you're funny enough to go and travel to clubs And then when you do that, you're waiting on other people's approval to get into the different clubs. And then you have to piece it all together week by week, making a tour and like following a path and just being on the road.
So is there like scouts then, like in sports, that there's scouts that watch certain comedians to evaluate you on where you're going? So are you being evaluated at every event to try and get to that next level of comedy?
Well, there's different levels of clubs. And then at each club, they require like videos to know your standings, like to see if you're funny. They require people to vouch for you, stuff like that.
So don't you have agents, managers, publicists, people that work for you like that? Don't you work for an agency that does represent you that way?
You can go that route, or you can do it yourself.
Which do you find?
Look, when you're
A narcissist really can't represent themselves because you're way too good.
Of course,
Right.
but when you're early in your career, you don't want to split your money with somebody who's not doing a good job promoting it.
So wouldn't volume, though, take over for that? Like, wouldn't, if you had an agent that was taking half your money, wouldn't
he's
it kind of
getting more
break
stuff?
even? Wouldn't you get out there? Wouldn't you get... I'm asking the question because I don't know. Like, I mean, you're in the business, and what people don't know is how tough this business is.
Well, in Canada, there's not a lot of agencies and management companies other than Yuck Yucks that'll really take care of you in that way.
Now, why don't you have those people working for you, and what would be the downside to having them, other than the dollar?
It'll come.
So
It'll come.
It's not that you don't want them; it's that you're not ready to have them yet. Is that
It's
that
one of
how
those
it
things
is?
that you wait for people to come knocking at your door. Because I don't want to go and be like, oh, please represent. I'm going to get to the point where people want to do that for me. Right?
That's a pretty
And that's
smart
when
answer.
you're in the power position.
That's a pretty smart answer.
You're not working for them, they're working for you.
Well, are you a success in your eyes? On all bullshit aside, are you a success at this point in your career? To you,
I'm succeeding.
okay.
And I think that's a better way to look at it, is that I'm happy with where I am and I'm happy with where I'm going.
So, what's the analogy of what you need to get to where you want to go? Do you know?
I don't think there's an analogy. I think it's just keeping on the right path.
Okay.
So I think it's keeping positive and keep doing what I'm doing. And it's one of those things, especially with stand-up and in a lot of jobs, that if you just keep at it and keep pushing, eventually you're gonna break that dam down. Okay. You're gonna make it through. Like, look, I think I'm ahead of a lot of people, but I'm behind a lot of others. Like, look, I read this thing. There was like top 20 comments on comedy, and one of the ones that stuck out to me is, you might be jealous of that one person who got what you didn't get.
And what would that be?
But for that one person, there's 20 people jealous of what you have. So it's important to keep perspective like that. So regardless where you are, that's the biggest thing.
Well, it's, you know what, it's really cool interviewing you because you are a happy guy.
Yeah.
And as we'll be talking about in segments later in the show, about the other side of the
Okay, but
fence.
there's also, there is the other side of that. Like, it's not just all happy. Like, I do sleep in a single bed for the past 5 years. Like, that's not happy.
And your worst case scenario was in a green room for a month, wasn't it?
Yeah. I lived
So-
in the green room of Absolute Comedy for a month.
So, folks, when you see a comic out there in a show, buy a ticket, go see them. They've got to eat, and these guys are funny, funny people.
Some of them are living in the club they're performing in.
And that's why they call it the green room. And Evan, thanks very much. Now, to see more of Evan, just go to Facebook and look up Evan Demarais or visit Twitter at Evan Comedy. You're watching A Comics Life with John Casey. Stick around. It's been real, it's been nice, and we'll be right back.
I guess the first time I wrote a joke, I was 7 years old. Some people say, how did you get into comedy? I think I was born into comedy. It just came supernatural for me. I was in trouble and my mom sent me to my room. And I came downstairs and I said, Mom, I turned over a leaf. And she said, that's a good girl. And I said, but it's a pot leaf. And she said, back to your room. And I went upstairs. I was laughing my ass off. I was like 7. I was in so much trouble. But just getting the laugh just meant everything to me. And I guess some people will say to me, you know, what did you give up for comedy? I didn't give anything up for comedy. Comedy saved my life, I think. Things were pretty rough until I found comedy. And then I found a good place with people that were dysfunctional like me that I could relate to. And it's been like a family to me ever since. So I love comedy.
And we're here with Minnie Holmes, and this is a lady that I've known for, 20 years. In my eyes, this woman's a genius in the comic world. So, Minnie, you have to tell us about the Jerry Springer gag. I'm going to sit back because I love this story and just tell people exactly
Okay.
what happened with this Jerry Springer
Well,
gig.
it's kind of just a simple thing. It's just like a bunch of comics. We were broke. Johnny Guardhouse and Ian Sirota are my best friends. So we watched Jerry Springer every day and just got high and, laughed. And so one day it said, if you've slept with your babysitter, call 1-800-29-JERRY. So Ian called and said, hi, I'm Johnny Guardhouse. I slept with my babysitter. And he hung up, and then we just didn't think about it again. So the next day they called, and Johnny happened to pick up the phone, and then he just ran with it. And he was like, yeah, I slept with my babies. Then they called me. They're like, you're the babysitter. I was like, okay, all right, cool. And then the Springer people just kept phoning and phoning and phoning. And then I was saying, well, I can't go because he's crazy and I need my boyfriend there. But
Oh
my
my
boyfriend's
God.
really jealous. So they were like, oh, yeah, get your boyfriend. Bring him, too.
Oh, my God.
And they had, like, psychiatrists
Did you guys
there.
rehearse any of this?
Yeah, we did in the living room. It was great. Actually, we would fight. We'd be like, I want to be Jerry. I want to be Jerry. It was real. And actually, he asked some of the questions that we did. So yeah, it was real. That was hard. That was the hard thing when he asked the questions that we had already done in the living room, like not to bust out laughing.
And you guys already had the answers posted in your head. So how do you keep a straight face through that when you know this is total bullshit? You're in front of, what did Springer's audience, like 10 million or something a day?
Yeah. Well, the audience was brutal. They were yelling at me. So like
they were
really
calling you everything.
They had to get
Like-
security to get me out of there because they were going to kill me, the girls.
This was a huge story.
Well, yeah, we got a lot of press out of that. Like Entertainment Tonight, Cosmopolitan Magazine. 2020 flew us down, and Barbara Walters did a disclaimer saying she had nothing to do with the next segment. I should put that in my demo reel, actually.
Wow.
Because she was like, I don't have anything to do with this. I'm disgusted with it. So we were like, yeah, all right, whatever.
You just disappeared one day. You were on the show, and then all of a sudden, bang, I hear you're in LA.
Yeah.
So I go hunting for you in LA to find out where you're playing.
Oh,
and
that's
I keep
right. I forgot that. You went looking for me.
I went looking for you.
Yeah, well, my show, She's So Funny, on the Women's Network, that ran 4 years, and it ended in '99. And at that point, I was kind of like, I should probably take the next step at that point. And so I was like, I'm going to go down to LA and check it out. I didn't realize that actually half of the people went to LA and the other half of the comics went to the UK at the time. I thought, oh, we're just going to LA or Canada, that's it. But I didn't realize there was like this whole other group of comics that, guys funnier than me, that actually went down to the UK.
Did you ever go to the UK, though?
I lived there. Actually, I used to live in London. I'm going in August to London, and then I'm going to Edinburgh afterwards.
So do you see a difference, and I mean a real difference, in the comedy clubs in Canada compared to the US? Because you were in LA.
Hell yeah. When I went down there, I had a really good manager, Herb Nanis. He reps like Andrew Dice Clay, Albert Brooks. He made Roseanne Barr a star. So I was just very impatient when I went down there. I was like, why is things not happening? Because this thing's happened so quick in Canada for me. And then I went down there, I just felt like everything was so slow. So I was just impatient. So I was with him, and I left because Jamie Masada approached me. And Jamie wanted to manage me.
And Jamie Masada was
He
like...
owns the Laugh Factory.
Laugh Factory, okay.
So I jumped ship.
Okay.
Because and then I just found myself emceeing every single night, which most people would be like, oh my God, I'm at the Laugh Factory every single night. But I was like, oh my God, I'm at the Laugh Factory every fucking night.
Would it not advance your career in LA?
I got bored of it, I guess. I just like, I'm emceeing every, yeah.
So
here's,
that's you're emceeing every night at Laugh Factory?
Well,
That's your low point?
and I believe in the art of it, you know? So I'm like, oh, here's Damon Wayans. He's going to come up and stink up the fucking stage now. Oh, I'm just dropping names. I should have been drinking, but it's true. You know, but it's like, it was
But
a little...
that's your low point.
It's disheartening because in Canada, like, you don't even tour unless you have 30 to 40 minutes. You go down to LA, it's like, no wonder there's so many girls that make it and that are on shows because they have 7 minutes and that's all you need down there. You go up, like when I first performed, they'd be like, do 3 minutes. I'm like, I can't even say hello in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Like I just got off the road.
So why is that, though? What's the big difference?
Because there's no time and everything's so fakey down there, you know? It's like you just have to have a good 7 minutes. People just keep continually doing 7 minutes at clubs. Where here, if you only had 7 minutes, you'd be busted in no time. And that's why people always say, why are you funnier in Canada? Well, because we have more training. I think that. I think it's because we do the road more and we work harder. Like at Yuck, you can't do the road unless you have at least 30 minutes. Where in LA, you got 7 minutes, 3 minutes you're on stage.
Wow.
You know, you don't even have to be funny. You just got 3 minutes.
Your career, where do you want to see it end? I mean, where do you want to see Minnie Holmes? What's the ultimate end game for you? I mean, is it the sitcom thing? Is it talk show? Is it?
Well, yeah,
is
that
it,
would obviously be awesome. You
Okay.
know, like the audition I was on yesterday. Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm at that point now where I'm pretty happy just to be working. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty happy to just be doing stand up. I love stand up. I was born a comic.
You were born.
I believe that.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. How the hell do you prep, or do you prep to do a show at night? Like, where's it come from? Like, or is it just my job? The lights came on. It's my job.
Yeah. Well, that goes with experience too.
Okay.
You know, because even now, I used to have that fear. Oh, what if I forget my act? What if I forget my act? Now it's like, well, if I forget my act, I just talk to the audience. Or I didn't have those skills when I was younger to do that. You know, I wasn't as good at it as I am now. Now I can just talk to anybody.
Who's your favorite comic?
Right now, Nate Bargatze. I love him.
Who?
I just became a world record holder for comedy. I just finished, I was down in Nashville, and we did the world's longest comedy show, 7 days. And we had all sorts of people popping in.
7 days on
7
stage?
days. It was brutal. We like smashed the record. The other record was like 3 days. We did 7 days. But it was, you know, we'd be like hammered, and then I'd pass out in the bathroom, and I'd be like literally hung over on stage, like I'm gonna throw up. But you had to do 20 minutes, or
it
you
was
had
off.
you had to have 100 paid gigs. You had to be doing it more than a year. You had to do 20 minutes. If you did less than 20 minutes, then it was null and void, and they had to
So
start
was
all over
was
again.
this in the Guinness Book or anything like
Yeah,
that?
the Guinness guy was
Really?
there, like the jacket, the crest, like the whole deal.
No
Timing
way.
us, yeah.
So we could look this up on Guinness, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
could probably find the footage.
Yeah.
This is
It's called the Broken Record Show.
really.
Yeah, Broken Record Show.
Minnie, thank you so much for doing the show. Now, to see more of Minnie, go to Facebook, Minnie Holmes, or follow her on Twitter at She's So Funny and Instagram, The Minnie Holmes.
So why I'm a comedian is because I'm insecure, and I've never felt particularly happy with myself. And the best way to deal with not being happy with yourself is to find a way to make that funny. And I grew up a fat kid, and for a fat kid, if you ever want to get pussy in your life, you better be funny. So that's why I'm a comic, is because I'm insecure.
And here we are with Rob Mayo. You're watching A Comic's Life, and this is going to be a very, very, very different kind of interview because we're going to go a little deeper. Rob, great to have you on the show, sir.
Hello.
I want you to describe your personal writing skills, the prepping to get into your writing, because as this interview goes on, people are going to know that you write a lot of your own material. So,
I write all my own material.
Oh, sorry,
We
he writes all of it. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta be very clear about that. off
No
the top.
plagiarism.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and that's actually something that people talk about all the time now. Do you write your own material? And I mean, you have to write your own material now.
Why?
Because comics, unlike any other art form, they're buying into a person.
Sure.
Comedy, the reason podcasts and things have exploded is because they want to know everything about you. And if they find out someone's writing for you, it really takes a layer away from what's going on. You know, there's very few comics that can actually have anybody write for them anymore.
Is there something that you do to set up to get your head in the right zone to write?
I mean, if I had any sort of process, I mean,
Yes.
that's what we like to refer to.
The process.
In the biz, we call it the process. I find sometimes I get so bogged down in like unnecessary controversies that like it consumes my life so much that I need to get it out. And sometimes it's detrimental. You know, it's not always good.
What part of it would be detrimental, though, if you were writing something? Give me a prime example of something that you've written that was detrimental that maybe you didn't mean it to be, but because of the situation.
Well, look, it doesn't. Here's the problem in comedy now. It doesn't matter how well-intentioned or thought out that you are.
Okay.
What matters now is words. The guy from Tosh Bono had an example of somebody yelled out, you know, he had a bit about anything's funny, and someone yelled out, well, rape can't be funny. Now, you have to understand that my job in that moment, and this is what I wish that people could understand about being a comedian, is that you have to understand that under any circumstances, my job, first and foremost, is to be funny.
Right.
Right? I love social commentary. I love to have a well thought out point, but my job is to be funny. That's the job.
Okay.
So in that moment, you have to do the funniest thing possible. And if someone presents you with a situation of rape's not funny, well, now you have to use comic logic to find out how rape is funny.
How would you make that funny, though?
Well, I mean, look, the fact was his comment wasn't fantastic, but it's in the moment.
Okay.
In the moment and material, two very different things. You know, and you can tell the difference between those two things. Any audience can tell the difference. We can trick you to a degree, and that's the job, apparent spontaneity.
So basically, you got a little bit of magic in there as well.
There's a little bit of that's
Okay.
that's the magic of comedy, is tricking them into taking material and making them think it's not material. That's the magic of comedy. Look, the reason I'm a comedian, Norm Macdonald, he was
Okay.
the first person who taught me
Excellent.
that you could say anything in the world. You know, Norm Macdonald did. He got fired from SNL. He got fired, by the way. What most people believe is because of his views on O.J. Simpson. He believes O.J. Simpson was guilty. Dick Ebersol was friends with O.J. Simpson, thought he was innocent. So Norm got fired. A year and a half later, Norm is asked to host, and this is the moment I became a comedian. And the opening monologue was about how, a year and a half ago I was fired from SNL,
Right.
and now I'm being asked to host the show. Right? And he's like, now, let's being honest, a year and a half is not enough time to become funny, right? so I'm thinking.
That's very true. I remember that.
And he's like, I didn't get any funnier. The show is just really bad, right? And he runs down the show as he's hosting it in the opening monologue, and I realized in that moment, comedians can say anything they want because they're putting that sugar in it. You can get away with whatever you want. And Norm Macdonald became the reason I became a comedian. Now, who shaped my stand-up? Chris Rock, I like to say, introduced like the logic of a stand-up comedian to me. But the reality is we're all comics for a reason, is because we loved comedy, and that's why we got into it. And
But in that same word, like stand-up is very competitive, right? Like, I mean, everybody says, oh, we all back each other and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it is very competitive.
no, look, we do not all back each other.
Thank you.
I mean,
Honesty out of a comic.
We
Here
don't
go.
all back each other. Look, I mean,
And when you say that, how do you not back each
Well,
other?
look, here's-
Would you go heckle somebody?
no, absolutely not. I never. Here's where I draw the line, and we all back each other. There is a certain degree where we back each other. When somebody, it's become very cool to like throw certain comedians under the bus. Dane Cook is a great example, as a comedian who became a whipping boy for comedians. But I understand that Dane Cook is for somebody. It might not necessarily be for me, but it's for somebody, and that's where I try to like be supportive to a means to an end. But are we supportive of each other? Look, you get any three comedians in a room by themselves. It doesn't matter who they are. They're going to talk shit about other comedians. That's just what we do. We do it about everything else in comedy.
Right.
And if that can get you in trouble for saying, it can get you in trouble for saying. But the fact of the matter is, there's not one comedian in the world that I have spent more than 4 hours with where we didn't start talking shit about some other comedian. That's just the reality of the business. And does it mean we hate the other comedian? No. A lot of times there's root and jealousy. There's lots of things that I wish I was getting right now that I'm not getting, that I will run down another comedian for because I think I deserve
So
it.
what is your end result to your career of where you want to get to? That, I mean, everybody has one.
I mean, I'm as antiquated and whatever as it is, I'm a road dog.
Okay, so what's going to make you happy at the end of the day because of the choices you've made to be a comedian? What is going to be the key that says, I made it?
100 people in every city that are there because they love me, not because they were just looking for a night out. That's what will make all the difference to me. You could pay me in respect. You don't even have to pay me in money. I'll take respect for a living. If
Wow.
if a club could tell me, hey, we have this weekend for you, there'll be 1,000 people there, and at the end of it, 100 of them will go, that's one of the best comedians I've ever seen in my entire life, I'll forgo the payment. And that's fucked. I shouldn't do that.
When you're on stage, what's the relationship, the feel, the passion that you feel with an audience? And do you feel it different on every show? I mean, do you feel something different, or do you have something that when you hit that stage, you're going to explode because it's just what you do? Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's a room.
What's the relationship like?
There's a room I could walk into. Like, look, okay, I was just out west and I did it was like an art gallery. It's a fun show. I don't want nothing negative about the show.
Right.
For lots of comedians, that's exactly where they want to be. But when I see art gallery and I see a girl with a septum piercing and whatever, I immediately in my head I start going, these people aren't for me. I dress like a hipster, but I'm very much a wolf in hipster's clothing. I'm not
Okay.
for that crowd.
And
So you're playing to the crowd.
I'm not even necessarily playing. No, I mean, in material-wise, I'm not. In appearance-wise, I am. You know, because look, the fact of the matter is, I dress. You know, you dress a particular way to get a particular kind of pussy. You know that. So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been.
I got one this week that was awake.
You've been with some fake tits in your life, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
I certainly have, because
Been a few girls.
hey, no clapping in the background.
Yeah.
For augmentation is a woman's choice for her own integrity,
Absolutely.
and I firmly believe that.
Any woman who doesn't know their dad or has a bad relationship with their dad, that's where I come in. I'm a 29-year-old who's divorced
I
and
get them
whatever.
all with the ones with daddy issues.
Yeah, I mean,
so, you know.
I kill with daddy issues. I think we're kindred spirits of a different time, by the way.
Have you met my long-lost son?
Yeah, absolutely. I am adopted. I could absolutely be.
And you know what? I was a donor
Do you
for
ever,
a lot of years.
Did you ever drop a load in Kitchener in 1986 at any
I
point?
did at the what was the name of that club downtown Kitchener? Lulu's.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Son.
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Rob, it's been a pleasure having you on A Comics Life. And again, folks, if you see Rob's name out there, get out and see him. He's funny as hell. So if you want to see more of Rob, just go to Twitter at Rob Loves Arguing and check out his Rob Loves Arguing podcast via iTunes or Stitcher. So it's the end of the show on A Comics Life. We've got everybody sitting down here at the bar, and we're going to open up a little panel here so we can get some arguing going or whatever, because Rob loves to argue. Minnie's, loves to argue. And Evan, I guess you're just going to jump in and, defend them, and we'll sit back and watch. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Robin Williams, I want everybody's opinion on this. Famous, rich, everything going for him, and the general public thinks that, oh my God, this is the comic of comics. How could he do this? Now, you guys are inside this business. How does this happen?
You can't stop it. If somebody wants to do it, like Robin Williams' wife, you can't be with somebody 24 hours a day. Ed Pollock, he killed himself. He was a comic, a very good friend of mine.
Do these guys have a background of being... I mean, would anybody have
Greg
noticed?
Giraldo had a real history of drug abuse.
Yeah, I was going to
It
say
was
drug
pretty
abuse
prevalent.
goes into it.
Well, look, but it's not just that. I mean,
And also the whole medicating yourself to be happy or just to get away from
and
shit,
beyond
right?
even, we take
Does
a
that
look
come
at.
up a lot?
I get shit on for this opinion, but beyond even just medicating yourself in a drug way, Patrice O'Neal was a fucking legend to me.
I
That guy was
know.
medicating himself through eating,
That hit me harder than Robin Williams, Patrice O'Neal.
And that guy was medicating himself through food.
Exactly.
That guy was filling a hole.
Oh my
But
God,
that
you
was
just hit it on the
diabetes
head.
that
It's
took
so
him.
true.
But that's what I'm saying. That guy didn't.
It's not
that guy
the
doesn't
same
eat.
thing.
It's the same
Do you
thing,
not
man.
feel like
It
it's
is the
like
same
death
thing.
by food sometimes on the road with comics?
it is.
It's insane.
Of course it is.
I go out with comics, they order, it's like 3 a.m. and they're like 8 slices of bacon, 4 eggs, double. I'm not lying. I mean,
What's wrong with that? That sounds delicious.
no, it's so disturbing. And you're just, because these people have diabetes and they've had their kidneys replaced and stuff, and you're sitting there watching them, and it's even worse than
Patrice
alcohol.
knew he had diabetes and still went in on food.
How do you guys know if somebody's really that fucked up? And let's post the question. What would you do? Would you do anything? Or have you been there and done nothing and seen something
We've all
happen?
been
Okay,
there.
also,
Have you been that depressed?
I have been. I had 3 friends commit suicide in 1 year in the comedy industry. It was a really hard year.
That's what you get for hanging out with Minnie.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you had-
also, no, I need
know.
to address that.
Exactly.
Fucked up.
I will get your work.
Just because
Trust
they're
me.
sad doesn't mean they're fucked up.
Okay, but you still you had
Yeah.
3 people in 1 year
Yeah.
commit suicide
Yeah,
that you
at
know
Yuck Yuck.
personally
in
at
a
Yuck Yuck.
roster of like less than 300 people across Canada. So
So was there is
That's
there
why
any
when-
connecting thing to this of
yeah,
why
that's
they
why.
did it?
To be honest with you, like to the general public, yeah, Robin Williams is shocking. To me, when it happened, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. It didn't shock me at all. Not one bit did it shock me. I was like, oh, just another comic that killed himself. You know.
So there was no shock theory for the people that are in the industry.
me personally, there wasn't.
How about you?
Oh, I was on mushrooms when I found out,
Okay.
and it was hard.
How about yourself?
I mean, you just have to look at unlike other industries where I do believe that mental illness is across the board through all industries, but we pour booze and road work on top of it and constant judgment. And look, I do think there's an incredible amount of mental illness in our industry, but there's an incredible
Why
amount
do you
of
say that though?
because we have to work with these people, you know?
Exactly.
But
This
here's
is
the
true.
thing.
Oh, when you go to a show in LA and you see a lineup for some of those open mics, and it's homeless people who just
Yeah.
think they can do what we do.
The mentally fucking ill people who think that they could do comedy
also think they could be a doctor.
Yeah, but I had an MD.
That's true.
I was a male
Or
dancer.
Jesus.
Like, this is
I
not
had an MD. I was a male dancer.
This is not unique to our industry. The fact of the matter is,
Neither is Robin Williams' death, right?
There's a problem
That's why,
with mental illness.
But you don't need to have a degree for comedy to be a doctor in a
doesn't-
specialized science.
Yes, but I'm not saying they
You're
can
not
be a
working at
doctor.
CERN and being like,
saying-
I just came off the street, but I know all these things about.
I'm not saying you could be a doctor.
They
but
just
there's
think.
plenty of people who think they could be a fucking doctor.
how many people
And
lecture
that's-
you on gluten?
And
Exactly.
I mean, that's an exact fucking
let's break
case
this
of it.
down. Let's break this down then. So if a doctor said to you, do not leave your son alone for 5 minutes because this is a possibility of what could happen.
Well, you know what?
There's a difference between son and husband, though.
Exactly.
Yes.
You get sick of your husband. You don't get sick of your son. You're
And
like,
also-
maybe I'll leave him alone for 20 minutes.
Look, sometimes people tell you things you're supposed to hear, right? They tell you not to leave your kids in the car, right? That's like the new controversy is like if someone leaves their kid in the car,
At least
people
open the
go,
window.
Of course, yeah, crack the window. Because first of all, by the way, who's going to steal your baby? What kind of fucking neighborhood do you live in where someone's stealing your baby?
Not me.
Who knows
Oh,
how
you
to
never
steal
know.
a baby? But more importantly than that, yeah, I mean, hey, look, you look like you've, not only do you look like you know how to sell a baby.
Oh, he's like, can I chalk it up to a charity?
Oh my God.
Evan, Rob, thank you so much. Minnie, love you.
Love you too.
Evan, thank you so much.
There you go.
So if you like us on Facebook. And for more comics, visit acomicslife.ca.